Okay, let's give a huge round of applause for Kevin. Kevin, come on up here.
Bear with me as I say the following odd sentence. I would like to personally thank President-elect Donald Trump for indirectly saving me from a very weird dating scenario while at the same time almost getting me killed. In 2005, for 4 months, I lived and performed on the cruise ship, the Norwegian Dawn, a cruise ship that was out of New York and would go down to the Caribbean for 7-day cruises. I did not have a lot of responsibilities on the ship besides just the show I was doing, so to quell the loneliness and to pass the time, I started casually dating a woman on the ship who worked on the ship with me, a beautiful Bulgarian woman who just spoke many languages and approached me one night at the buffet, and sparks flew. And I was mildly trepidatious of dating her, but I just decided, who cares? The reason being was that one of the things that cruise ships will give you are endless buffets. And one of the things that will take away from you is all sense of privacy, because there are 1,100 cameras monitoring all activity on the ship. And this woman, Liliana, her job was to work in the surveillance department, where she would monitor all of those cameras 8 to 10 hours a day. And I don't know if you've ever dated someone that can follow you and know what you're doing at any given point in the day, but I can tell you it gets weird quick. She was very open about how much she watched me. On the first night we had drinks, she told me how much money I had spent on my crew account. She also told me that she had watched me work out that day, very impressive. And she watched me eat, and when I would walk into my room, my phone would ring because she had just watched me walk into my room. Our relationship lasted 6 days. Now that week for that cruise, we were informed that we were doing an itinerary change and that we were going to go back to New York 1 day early for a special event. We were not told what that special event was. Rumors were flying around what it was, but we had no idea going into it. All we knew was that we were leaving the Caribbean 1 day early to go back to New York. So because of that, and because we were leaving that 24 hours earlier, the Norwegian Dawn found itself in a storm that was too big to go around. So for 20 hours, we were tossed up and down by 10 to 25 foot waves. It was that horrible thing you see in old silent movies where the ship would go like this and then drawers would come out and then it would go that way and the drawers would go back in. It was awful. At 8:15 p.m., 12 hours into this storm, I was up in the Spinnaker Lounge with my cast performing our family-friendly improv show. And we were on deck 12 in the front, and then about 15 minutes into the show, the ship just starts going up, like the ascension on a roller coaster. And I grab onto a rail beside me, and I remember thinking in this moment, oh my God, this is it. This is how I die. So as we get up, so what has happened is this. The ship has now gone over a swell that is so big that it has taken the entire front part of the ship out of the water. And when we go over the middle part of the wave, gravity kicks in and we have nowhere to go but down. And the hull of the ship, when it hit the water, it sounded like we had broken the sound barrier. Glassware shattered in the bar, and the bow went underwater, and according to the National Transportation and Safety Board report of this official event, our back propellers came out of the water. Needless to say, our family-friendly improv show sucked that night. Right after the show, I went to the house phone and I called Liliana to see if she was okay, and she was in the surveillance department. She said she was, and I said, I'm freaked out, I'm going right back to my room. She said, okay, and then I hung up, and then I did not go right back to my room. I kind of took a 15-minute detour, so I kind of lolooked around to see if there was any damage around the ship. And then when I finally did walk back into my room, my phone immediately rang. And she said, you didn't go back to your room immediately. Now, granted, emotions were running high at this point, and I was in let's put it this way, no fucking mood for this. And I said, look, we gotta be done. I can't do this is too much. And for whatever reason, she was in an emotional state where she responded by saying a veiled threat of, don't you break my heart, because everyone in surveillance loves me. And if you do break my heart, we're all gonna be watching you. As another wave crashed against the ship, I had a feeling of just indifference as I said, okay, whatever, and hung up. 6 hours later, at 6:30 a.m., the Norwegian Dawn was hit by a 70-foot rogue wave. that hit the front of the ship. And if you're familiar with the movie The Poseidon Adventure, that's the thing that got them. But we were hit right in the front, and it washed away the hot tubs in the I'm the King of the World area, and water broke into the two front cabins on decks 10 and 11, so people woke up to water and glass rushing into their room, and ultimately 60 cabins were flooded. At this point, the Norwegian Dawn had to limp into South Carolina for repairs, and we were not able to make it back to New York for that special event that we were headed towards. A few days later, I found out two things. One, Liliana was so freaked out by this storm that we were in because of this special event that she decided to transfer off the ship, therefore no longer leaving me surveilled. Not a word. Number two, Fox News reported that the special event that the Norwegian Dawn was headed towards was that the ship was going to appear in a filmed segment for Donald Trump's The Apprentice. So once again, I say to you an odd sentence, where I would like to personally thank President-elect Donald Trump for indirectly saving me from a messed up dating scenario, while at the same time almost getting me killed. Thank you very much.